Hello, this is Dichotomy McBride, and this is 3 Entity Equilibrium Program Entry 5. Um, to clarify what 3 entities are, is the mind, body, and soul, and equilibrium is a balance. There's been, like I said, 4 entries before this, including a preview of 5, which never happened. My first entry being December 10th, 2012, and my last entry about June 2012. These entries included the introduction of my idea of what the Entity Equilibrium Program was about, which is basically trying to be proficient in the mind, body, and soul not being related to religion, but being related to your consciousness. And also an entry afterwards was like 1.5, and between 2 was explaining my notes and where they came from. I've basically been working on an ideal about how to be proficient as a human being since I was 13. And it's very important to me, especially as a martial artist. I feel like those 3 qualities are very important. And in entry 2, I talked about scheduling. It was basically because my life is so chaotic, it's so crazy, like most people's are, even yours probably is. I didn't know exactly what I was doing in my life. I just recently graduated at St. John Fisher with double majors in psychology and philosophy, and I didn't have a job. I couldn't find a job in psychology, which was really frustrating. And I also gained a $40,000 debt, so I was in very severe debt, and I was always stressed by the money issues. Not being a wealthy person as is, that was very very damaging to my lifestyle. So I think it's really important to hit home that education should be the #1 priority in our life as a society. So not getting too deep into that, but I feel like there's something wrong with the education system where I spent all this time trying to get a degree and I couldn't get a job. And that's kind of why I started the program semi, because I was just, it was like maybe like 4 months, 5 months after I graduated, and I still couldn't get a job. So I kind of wanted to get that stress relief and share something with people that I can make applicable with my degree, which I couldn't really do any other way. I'll talk about some changes that happened in my life. I was in 3 relationships. I had 2 new jobs. I went from working security at a hotel to security at a kids museum, which I make more money, not really, but I still stressed with that. Also, I've been training 3 different gyms. The first gym I got kicked out was Royal Gym. The second gym I got kicked out was Fusion, and now I'm currently training at Empire, which is very interesting. I think those experiences are very good though. You learn that life is all about constant changing, constant revolving, and you gotta get used to that. Okay. Now to clarify, to go through, I didn't finish the entry 3. Okay, back to 3 Entity Equilibrium Program about my entries that I posted in videos. Entry 3 was basically talking about my ideal about religion and God, and what I thought the spirit was, is that component. And basically explained that how I think religion is just the customs that have been passed on, and the spirit is the expression of the soul. The soul is the actual thing that's within you, like your consciousness is the actual thing within you, and the expression of your consciousness is the spirit. Spirit and soul are different. And then going back to entry 4, about energy and about what energy does. Going back to laws of conservation of energy is basically, energy can't be destroyed or created; it can only be changed. And again, not getting too deep into that, the understanding of how energy is everywhere. Every time you do an act, you're using energy, and how you use it is based on the potential of each individual. And we all have free will based on the expression of your soul. Expression of your spirit. Okay, to also explain what was going on between my first entry in December 10th, 2012 until June 2012. I was slowly getting sick, and I was not aware of that, but I was very stressed and very fatigued, and I wasn't sure why. And if some of you knew me personally, you kind of got an idea of why I was getting sick. I actually had some sort of tonsil infection that was developing, and it actually interrupted a lot of my life. It destroyed my chances of fighting in an MMA fight I was training for. It also messed up a lot of my training. I had to stop working for roughly 2 weeks, which put me in a severe debt. I have pictures of infection that was caused, and I still have issues with. And when I went to the doctors in emergency, they explained to me that it was some sort of throat infection, and they sent me back home with some medications. That actually got me misdiagnosed and almost died when I got home. I had a fever of over 102. And I was hallucinating and everything, so I had to go back to the emergency, and they actually could not figure out what was wrong with me. So that type of stuff happens, and then fast forward into 2014. I was training again. I was feeling good. My life was starting to balance out. I was in a good relationship, and all of a sudden it flipped and reversed again. Relationship ended up going really sour. My job was really frustrating and suffering. And also, I got sick again. This time it was due to me getting my tonsils removed, my wisdom teeth removed. I got all removed, and then during that, I had a cavity filled, and they did it incorrectly, which caused a severe infection. And what ended up happening is my whole entire face, and I have like a pain tolerance, so I really didn't understand why my face was swelling up. I didn't feel any, that much pain, but I got an infection all in my face, behind my eye, all in my jaw. It dribbled down into my neck. My whole entire face was swollen up. I looked like, no disrespect, with Elephant Man. So that was very horrible. That was very horrible. I had to go to emergency and almost died again. And it took several procedures to get the infection out of my face. And I was, again, training for a fight, and I had to take off work, and I just started my new job, and it was very frustrating, But life is all about, facing these challenges, facing this pain, and dealing with it. Because if I just gave up, it would have turned out differently. And this picture here really tells you how I was feeling, and the change I had to make right afterwards. When you face adversity and severe struggle, you have to not only overcome it, but you have to become better afterwards because of the experience you learn. Take that as a learning experience. And my sort of thinking before prior to this experience, was that I was very pessimistic about life. I was very depressed. I felt like there's not being in the position I was, being poor, having a job that I could barely survive off of. I had to most of the time choose between eating and paying my student loans, debts, or paying my RG&E debt. It was, it's constant pressure to live in a world where, the most important thing is your finances and not what you want to do inside. So that is kind of, where I've taken that. And now, after that hardship, I changed my thinking. I changed it to be positive now. I smile in almost any situation, because what else can you do? You can be depressed about it and make it worse, or you can just smile about it. Not ignoring what is happening, but accepting what is happening, and accepting the fact that positivity is going to overcome it. And that's where I want you to take this program. I want you to take it with positive outlook and not be negative about what I'm saying, and kind of have to start a conversation with me. Don't just watch my video, go by like, okay, well, yeah, he sounds like he's he wants to do what everyone else wants to do, make the world better, make themselves better. But I want you to start a conversation about what I'm talking about, and maybe we can help each other come to an agreement of how to do that. Okay, so let's take it in another direction. I'm talking about exactly what I'm trying to do here. Okay, so in the preview to entry 5, which is now, this is entry 5, I showed a diagram of my workout program based on the 5 components of fitness and the 5 components of performance. I did finish that, like I promised I would. It took some time afterwards due to all that stuff that happened, but I did finish it. And I also finished my 6 relations chart and program, which I will be talking in the latter videos. So this is the completed 6 relations chart that I was talking about in the earlier videos. It's color coded like I told you I was going to do. and it does help me with my studying, you know, and I will explain that in later videos, and hopefully you get some knowledge from that. And I also finished, like I said, the 5 components sheet, but this is basically a fitness key that I use now to help me train. I will show the difference between how I was looking then and how I was looking now, to explain exactly how, you know, taking my time to really write down my study program and my fitness program and do it in a proficient manner, and how I used those things I was talking about before, those concepts and those constructs, not concepts, constructs, to help me measure, you know, if I'm getting better or not, you know, using graphs and stuff like that. And, you know, of course, psychology has helped me with that. Okay, and the last thing I want to mention before I let you go is understanding what I call, you know, I learned this, you know, right now I'm in school again, right? It's kind of dumb. I'm going to put myself in further debt.